Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Good morning.
Do you have a video playing?
Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 256 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah. Today, recording day, is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023, and there's actually some pink in the sky today, so it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous morning here at the Beaver Lodge. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver, eh? And there's some weird thing going on with the back of my hair, I see. And with me, as always, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. There, we'll just take care of that right there. A big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. We have a nibble for you this morning, but before we do anything else, let's say good morning to you, Mr. Grizzly, and ask how your mental health is doing today, sir.
Well, good morning, Mr. Beaver. I am feeling really good about myself today. I have no idea why. I had a very strange night. I fell asleep very early on the couch. I was going to do an ASMR, and I fell asleep at around 8 o'clock. I was just exhausted. I woke up at 10:30 and crawled into bed. Slept till about 2 a.m. Looked at the clock and said, too early, went back to sleep. Yeah, I'm feeling good this morning. So not questioning it, just running with it. Whenever you feel good, don't ask yourself why. Just roll with it. Because otherwise you'll give yourself terrible anxiety. And I mean, that's the antithesis of what we're trying to accomplish here, right? We want to be happy and joyful and just feel good because life is short.
I agree. Good morning to you, Kit Elaine, Kit Jillian, Kit PNC Bio. Mr. Grizzly, I did send you the link to the mix.
I got it. Yes, I did. Thank you. I'm going to be listening to it at work today.
Yes. Kit, let's see, who else do we have here? Miss Sadeka, Kit Cassie, lovely to see you, dear. I'm glad you're here. Kit Linda M, Kit Kendra, Kit Plain Power, joining us this morning. It's so lovely
All
that
the
you're
way
here.
from Alberta. Plain Power from Alberta.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Where you will be headed soon, Mr. Grizzly.
Yeah. Next, the 1st of December, I will be in Calgary for the weekend. I was talking to my buddy. I said, we might make a roadie up to Edmonton. We're going to see if we can work it out. I've got family in Edmonton, and Army Chris is up there. I'd love to get together with Army Chris. We'll see what we can do. I mean, you never know. A long weekend. I mean, I'm working Friday, basically from the airport and on the plane. But it's the beauty of the job, right? I can do that. So, but yeah, it's going to be a long and eventful weekend. And my flight home is 6 a.m. on Monday. So I tried to change it. My buddy was like, "Well, can you change it?" I'm like, "I'll see what I can do." I couldn't change it without costing, a lot of extra money.
Indeed,
So,
indeed. I'm feeling better this morning. I was feeling kind of crappy yesterday. I thought I may have
yeah,
been coming down with something. COVID tested and everything, was in bed early enough, but it seems it's just the accumulated effects of long insomnia. Often, if
yeah.
you have insomnia for a while, you start getting stuffed up and congested and headaches and all that kind of stuff and woozy, and that's often the feeling I get before I start a flu and stuff. But did the COVID test and all that kind of stuff yesterday, and fine. I'm fine. I know you have to do test regularly, but I do
Hmm.
because with theater and choir, I'm always
Around
testing because
people.
both of those are droplet city.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure it's something else. And I mean, I'm not unused to feeling this way. It
Mm.
happens regularly enough. I've been insomniac since I was 16, so I kind of, you know your body.
Oh, yes.
But
Well,
but
and
yeah,
one of the things you
yesterday I
just
felt like
mentioned there about like lack of sleep, it's what many people fail to realize is that sleep deprivation can affect you on the cellular level to the
yeah,
point where you feel sick, you're tired, you're just exhausted. It's because your body is not being able to recover. So you might feel like you're getting the flu or, something when it's not that at all. It's just your body's going, dude, you got to slow down, man. You're
yeah,
pushing yourself too hard.
yeah, and other things, right? All the other things that happen. Like for example, if you happen to have you know, the herpes virus or whatnot, if you don't sleep a lot, then you can have an outbreak or,
Mhm.
and all
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. So I
Oh, the
mean, it's
shingles,
shingles, and just yeah. So all
which is
that kind of
herpes,
stuff.
actually.
Yeah, exactly. And so all the little bobos, if you have something underlying in your system, then those things tend to come out and say, "Hey, let's party." It's like,
Yeah.
probably not. So, so yeah, it's been just a couple of weeks. Every now and then, I have to something comes up, and then I have to pay a little visit to the clinic and say like, "What is this? Is this normal? Should this be happening?" And most times, yeah, it's complete.
Hmm.
That's fine, and don't worry about it. And it's like, okay, but yes, I will be testing again in a few days as well. If I'm still feeling yucky, but over the past week now, it's like a week and a half. There have been days where I felt, oh, gee, I think I might have a cold coming on, and then the next morning I wake up and it's like it's completely fine. Yesterday I had a low grade fever as well, so that's why I did the test. But feeling great this morning. I just wish I had gotten more than 4.5 hours sleep again.
Well, you can function as a human being on 4 hours sleep, but you're not effective.
Yeah, I'm,
Four
I'm the
hours is the minimum. Yeah.
I've essentially been the equivalent of drunk for the last month,
Eesh.
which is why I don't drive. So,
Well, that's a good reason. Yeah. Do not operate mechanical machinery. So I have. You're talking about sleep deprivation. I'm trying. I'm going to line up a guest in the near future that we'll talk about. Let's just say he's somebody I've known for 30 plus years. Uh, Interesting character, and his stories are just mind blowing.
so
Sleep
anyway,
dep. He
kids,
talked about 17 days straight when he didn't sleep.
25, the last terrible bout I had,
No,
25 days.
he didn't even
Not
get
no
an
sleep at
hour,
all.
like zero sleep
Oh,
for
okay.
17 days.
I had 25 days of 3 hours or less.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
he
think
didn't sleep at all
about a
for
year and a half
17
ago.
days. Yeah.
It's just horrible.
Yeah, oh,
I
and it's
I was
one of the
mean to
things.
everyone.
One of the other things that you discover through sleep studies is like if you have to get up to urinate several times throughout the night, it's because your body's not getting proper rest, and it's
Mhm.
doing that. That's the body's way of telling you, hey, get some sleep, settle down. There's so much damage you can do to your body by sleep deprivation that you don't even realize.
Mhm. Yep, absolutely. All right, but feeling better. So please pardon the bags under my eyes, kits, but they are Louis Vuitton, so always fashion and style. Uh, Mr. Grizzly, you wanted to start with something. I believe you had the Minister of Labor making
Yes.
some comments. So, and you said unions on the thing on the description, so we'll start with that. But I've got a few things
We'll
as
start
well.
with it. Okay, well, we'll start with this, and it spells it out. So I'm trying to get people to share this far and wide as much as possible because every time Pierre Poilievre says the blue collar working common man, we're going to make more powerful paychecks. All he's going to do to make your paycheck powerful is kill all social programs, privatize healthcare, and end the CPP. So sure, you'll have a little bit more money in your pocket today, but when you get sick and when you get old and you can't work anymore, you're on your own. You're on your own. So let's have a look at this video, shall we? This
All
is from the Minister of Labour.
Let's talk about unions. When workers organize and they come together, they can ask for more from their employer. That's why they form unions. In Canada, the average union worker made over $6,000 more last year than a non-union worker. But unions make some politicians nervous. The leader of Canada's Conservatives is terrified of them. He talks a big game about workers.
Politics is supposed to be a blue-collar job. Check out these boots.
But he spent most of his career openly attacking workers, trying to undermine unions. In 2005, he voted against an affordable childcare program because it meant sending paychecks to, quote, a group of unionized staff.
Then they're going to unionize all of the professionals who will work in these facilities and be faced with labor turmoil and potential strikes.
In 2015, he supported a law that made it much harder for unions to certify. If workers wanted to form a union, he wanted to drown them in bureaucracy. And in 2015, he supported another law that forced unions to show their finances so employers knew exactly what cards those workers held just when they went to the bargaining table. We struck down both of those laws as soon as we could. Pierre wants to bring right-to-work laws to Canada. That would encourage workers in union jobs to opt out of their union. A bunch of red states in the US passed these laws to weaken the labor movement. And the average workers in those states, they earn less than the rest of the country. So much for powerful paychecks. So why are Conservative politicians so afraid of unions? Not just Pierre, there's a long history of Conservative leaders undermining workers. When workers organize, they push for things like childcare, dental care, health care, all programs that Pierre voted against. Getting your boots dirty doesn't mean much if you're coming to work to Ottawa every day trying to block the things that are making life better for working families. We've brought a national affordable childcare system to every single province and territory. And workers across the country in federally regulated sectors now have 10 days of paid sick leave. We did that because we're not afraid of unions.
I love this. I love this. I love it. I love it so much.
Wasn't that great?
He's got. I told you a while ago when I heard him on the Hurley Burley do an interview that this guy does politics in full sentences.
Yes.
There's tons.
Well, the beauty of what he just. Oh yeah. Well, the beauty of what he just said backs up his. Was it a couple of weeks ago? Will there be back to work legislation? He's like, "Are you out of your mind? No, absolutely not. We're not doing that." Because he respects their rights.
Yes.
He respects their rights. And not only that, it's like how Skippy wants to eliminate unions. He wants to eliminate labor workforces. He wants to eliminate social programs, while both taking from the public trough and benefiting from that golden parachute of a retirement plan.
Yep.
And a fully indexed pension.
And what is that government supposed to be a blue-collar job shit?
That's horse shit. That's horse shit.
It's supposed to represent everyone. Blue collar, pink collar, green collar, white collar, no collar. It's like Reverend's collar.
He's going after not only the lowest common denominator, but he's going after the folks, again, who work 70, 80 hours a week and don't have time to pay attention to what's actually taking place.
It's like, and the unions, well, we'll have labor strife and strikes. You can have strikes without a union. You can have labor turmoil without a union.
Yes.
It's like you just don't want, again, right, Mr. Free Speech, except if you're demanding better living conditions and wages. Mr. Freedom, unless you're asking for the freedom to be paid what you're worth.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, come on, man. Come on. But yes.
So I'm going to put a link to that in the chat. So folks, please share this far and wide, because it's important that people recognize this message and get the message out, because damn it, we need people to recognize what will happen if they were ever to form government.
I'm glad that the Prime Minister's putting his team more up front.
Yeah, it's about
Sean Fraser talks like that. Omar Al-Gabra, who's no longer minister because he decided he's not running again, but he spoke like that when you get him an interview. Anita Anand, she speaks like that. Chrystia Freeland, she speaks like that. Carla Cottrell, she speaks like that. Patty Haidu, she speaks like that.
Melanie Joly,
she speaks like that. There are so many. Jonathan Wilkinson, the Minister of Natural Resources, he speaks like that. There are so many of them. So many of them that can sit there and have a conversation or talk just like that, delivered to the camera exactly like that.
Well, and as wonderful as Omar Al-Gabra was in his position doing that, he was a bigger target because,
He was the brown guy with the Muslimy name.
yeah. Whereas Seamus O'Regan,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Same thing with Ahmad Hussein. Hussein.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. The two blind guys with Muslimy names. Because they went after them pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are they going to go after Seamus? I bet you they haven't got the...
Well, Seamus is
Stones.
gay, right? So
Yes. So they really can't go after him. He's gay, white, and he's got an Irish name.
they'll go after him because he's gay,
Oh, yeah, but
right?
we all
Are
know
you gonna let that groomer tell you how we should run our country?
we all know the alphabet mafia will come for those who attack him.
It's coming. Somebody's gonna say it.
Oh, I know it's going to happen, but it's going to blow back on them like they have no idea.
Yes.
Well, and yes, you're right about this, Cassie. The Liberals do need more communiques like this, especially with Preston Manning about to release his COVID-19 inquiry results, which he wants to weaponize against the federal government.
Yes, because Genius made the decision to send a little email to everyone with it, and for some reason thought he should include George Shahal. Oh, by the way, another brown guy with a Muslimly sounding name on the distribution list, and he's a Muslimly guy with a brown guy with a Muslimly sounding name representing a constituency in Alberta.
Yeah.
So they particularly don't like him because there are 2 red seats in Alberta, and Alberta is supposed to be all blue, right? Because they own that. It's like, doesn't matter if they have all of the seats except 2; they want all of them. It's all us, only our message, nobody else but us. Yeesh. Boy. But yes, he did put out that little note. That I wish I could draw it up really quickly, but I can't because I would have read it in a moment. But I do not have it in front of me, unfortunately. But yeah, that's we've been talking about this, about the unions, because this has pretty much been the year of the strike, right? And we've had the 2 port strikes, and there was the Metro workers that had strike in TV Ontario, and then the CAW, and so I mean, people want to make sure that they get theirs. It's that simple, right? And they're entitled to theirs. They work hard. People work hard. And the fact that the opposition is not recognizing that and not giving it the credit to it that it's supposed to have is just, I just don't know how long you can go on insulting people like that without it starting to have a consequence. I mean, he's got 23 months to go. There will be other strikes. And his rhetoric is not going to change. He is never on the side of the common person, no matter how many times he cosplays. I mean, you see this guy in these photos, with the construction hat and the orange vests on and all that kind of stuff, or the yellow vest with the orange. And it's like, who are you? You've never worn that a day in your life.
And it shows because he doesn't have it on correctly.
It's just, oh man, these people.
I have that bookmark, the thing from George Shahal, the letter from Preston Manning. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just click it up here. I'll put it on the screen and I'll read a passage.
I got it too.
Passage.
Oh no, read it all.
From it. Read it all?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So from Preston Manning, sent November 15th, 2023. I'm not going to read out the emails, but all the names are in there. And there's George Shahal. Dear CPC friends, hope all is well with each of you. Things are certainly looking up in the polls, and with any luck and some hard work, you should be in government next year. But now to the point of this email. As you may know, for the last year, I've been chairing this panel for Alberta's Premier Smith to examine the legislation authorizing the orders and regulation whereby the government of Alberta responded to the COVID-19 crisis, and to suggest amendments or additional legislation that would better prepare the province to manage future public emergencies. The Alberta government, to their credit, is the only Canadian government thus far to have commissioned such an investigation. Weird that they're investigating their own. Anyway.
Gee, I wonder why.
The panel's report is now complete, has been submitted to the Premier, and is being released today. Please, therefore, find attached the news release with links to the report, which is about 100 pages long, and the appendices, which are more technical and lengthy. A heads-up note with the news release and link has also been sent to Pierre. If the response of the Liberal NDP coalition, which is not a fucking thing, to the 2020-2023 COVID crisis should become an election issue in 2024, the elections in 2025, Preston, there may be some material in this report that could be used by the CPC to say, in quotes, what should have been done to cope with the COVID crisis and what should be done to cope with future public emergencies, end quote. Some of its contents may also be useful in attacking the record of the Liberal NDP coalition, not a thing, in this area. A copy of the news release with the link to the report has also therefore been sent to Dr. Ilyas as the CPC health critic to the CPC platform coordinator, Adam Chambers, and a special note to Edmonton area CPC MPs, as that is the area of the province where the Premier and UCP need extra support for the report and politically. In general, it seems to me that there would be a real merit in developing a closer practical relationship here in Alberta between UCP and CPC. They need your support for some of their initiatives, such as promoting and implementing the recommendation of this report, and you could use their active support for your re-election in 2024. What I'm wondering is whether a small task force composed of interested CPC MPs and UCP folks could be put together to jointly pursue this objective. Everybody benefits, especially Alberta. In any event, all the best to you, and call me if you have any questions. Please confirm receipt of this email. Preston Manning, and his phone number is blocked out.
Yeah. So you had some people turning around and saying, wow, gee, Preston Manning must have blown through that $263,000 pretty quickly if he's looking for his next job.
Yeah.
Okay. And isn't the UCP the party that's been screaming and crying all the time about the NDP provincial and the NDP federal being the same damn party, even though they can't stand each other?
Mm-hmm.
And that how this is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing? So what I'm wondering is whether a small task force composed of interested CPC MPs and UCP folks could be put together. Really?
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me there would be real merit in developing a closer practical relationship here in Alberta between the UCP and the CPC. Really? Really? I thought you didn't like that one party thing.
Well,
no, only if the people to the left of us do that.
Yes.
Then it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
the whole, like, the litany of bullshit in that. He mentions the NDP Liberal coalition twice. It's not a coalition.
Yeah,
it's not.
But here's the thing. This email, would that not be an admission of fraud?
Yes. Yes, it would be.
That report was $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
263,000 of which went into Preston's pocket directly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be an independent report.
It's clearly not.
But no turns out it's a piece of propaganda that apparently the guy who wrote it thinks that the UCP and the CPC should join together and rally around in order to defeat the federal government.
It's just a new reform party, and he's running it along with Stephen Harper.
So I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but it seems that if I had spent $2 million of other people's money to get a report on how we can improve the system, and that report is then promoted by the person who wrote it as, hey, here's an effective tool to that's not what the people paid for.
No.
So misappropriation of public funds, fraud, whatever you call it, betrayal of public trust. I know that conservative friends don't tell on friends, but I would be having someone look into that.
Yes.
I would be very interested in having someone look into that. What was the conversations that were had before Preston was given this contract?
Well,
because I mean, he had already pre-written the report before he did it, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
He had come out in public saying many things. I mean, nothing on the report strayed at all from what it is he said. He basically the report was confirmation of pretty much everything he said before with added stuff. for
Well,
allegedly supporting stuff.
From Yarrow Giesbrecht, I hope I said his name right. Preston Manning wants federal conservatives to use his Alberta taxpayer-funded report on COVID-19 to attack the federal government and help win the next election. Clearly, the $2 million was used for partisan reasons and was designed to promote Danielle Smith's agenda. Shall we watch this little video clip, sir?
All right.
Preston Manning wants federal conservatives to use his taxpayer-funded report on COVID-19 to help win the next election. Premier Danielle Smith says he's not out of line as an independent advisor.
It doesn't surprise me that he wants to see other politicians look at the recommendations, take them seriously, and see if they would act on it.
The email is addressed to CPC friends and suggests the COVID-19 panel report could be useful in attacking the record of the Liberal NDP coalition in this area. It was also received by a Liberal MP who published it on social media. Political scientist Wayne Bratt says the email proves his report is not nonpartisan.
It just rips the mask off that this was not a impartial lessons learned report. This was designed to promote the Smith agenda and promote conservative position.
In a statement to Global News, Manning says, after our work was completed, I reached out to politicians from my personal email, encouraging them to review our recommendations. Premier Smith says she takes no issue with Manning sending out the email to Conservative MPs because he used his personal email.
I'm not concerned. Yeah, I believe Mr. Manning did his work.
Alberta NDP leader Rachel Notley called Manning a political operative, noting the report's $2 million price tag and Manning's $235,000 payment for acting as chairperson.
It was never intended to be good public policy. It was always intended to be political.
The Premier says Cabinet is still going through the report's 90 recommendations. No decision has been made yet on what to implement.
I don't want to prejudge what our Cabinet and our caucus will come up with.
But Bratt says it will be more challenging for the government to move forward with the report and its recommendations. Morgan Black, Global News.
Oh, holy shit, sister. I don't want to prejudge. The whole report was prejudged. I'm sorry, my mistake. I thought it was 263,000. It was 235,000.
Still.
Come on. Of course you see no problem with it, girlfriend. You paid him the money. If you had a problem with it, you would have a problem with yourself, which you should have, but you don't. Oh, my word. My God. He used his personal email, so therefore it's okay for him to recommend that to tell us he all created this report for us to use as a cudgel with which to attack the Liberals and not Lee. It's like, girl. Again, you think we don't see you. And again, they do it by email. They put it in writing and then they send it to him.
Oh, yeah.
They're clever, but they are not very smart.
No, that's just it. They're
and
really
we
not
need
very
much
smart.
less clever and a whole lot more smart. Oh my God. Can we please dispense with the clever? Oh my God. I'm just... Anyway.
Yeah.
But the cards are on the table. Not that we didn't know. I mean, this is basically just confirmation of everything we expected, and Preston Manning lived down to every expectation we had of him when he went into this. And then some.
Yeah.
I don't...
Without
yeah,
question.
exactly. Quit playing power. They don't even bother hiding their corruption anymore. They're proud of it.
They don't. They are proud of it.
They call it leadership.
Well,
they call it
their
decisive
definition.
leadership, strong leadership, strongly and decisively leading you right into a brick wall at 150 kilometers an hour, but it's strong and decisive.
Hey,
We don't care what
get you
direction
there.
we're going, just press on the gas. Let's get there fast. Let's be decisive about pressing on that pedal. It's like, but we're about to Thelma and Louise. Press it, go, decisions, we're strong.
Well, that was what was it, years ago? There was an American airline company, not American Airlines, but they're a company that their slogan was, "We get you there." Isn't the very definition of what you do to get us there?
Yeah, really.
It just makes me chuckle when I think about it, you know.
Get me there. It's like, yeah, okay, but how? So, I know you're going to get me there, but how and maybe when? Oh man. Right. Let's see. What do I have? What do I have for you today? Okay, I have.
Oh, did you see that there's 2 new makeovers for Skippy?
Okay. Yes.
Wolf in sheep's clothing. And then, of course, this is my favorite one.
Yes. Yes. It's a Skippy as a new Argentinian president Javier Milei. Apparently, the twit won, and there's some video of him on a stage, like jumping up and down and going,
Yeah.
you know, doing that kind of stuff. And first thing I saw to myself is like, I thought to myself is, somewhere on the planet, you know, Howard Dean is sitting there thinking to himself, what the man?
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
what the? This guy?
He
All I did
lost
was,
his
yeah. It's like, what?
he lost his bid for president because he went yeehaw. This guy's jumping up and down like Steve Ballmer on acid.
And riding in cars with a chainsaw going,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
totally normal things.
totally.
You know, one of the things on his platform is he wants to make the buying and selling of children a legal thing.
Yeah. He's
He actually said that.
anarcho-capitalist. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's an anarcho-capitalist. And it sounds as bad. I mean, we read it on the show previously, so I won't do it again. But it does sound as bad. Like he believes that, you know, it's like there should be no law enforcement. Everybody can just hire their own security. Oh, that's great. So when you get everybody's hiring their own security, and then you get this guy here who's like really, really, really rich and says, hey, you know what? Your house, you don't need it anymore. I'm going to take that from you. So, well, I've got to call the police. Sorry, there's no police. Security's
There's no
private
police.
now. You can't afford it, but I can. So your house is mine.
Yes. He wants to make abortion illegal so that he can sell children. He said he wants to sell children.
Yep. And you got all these people in the crowd as he's walking by with that chainsaw and walking by driving with the chainsaw in the car going, I like this, and all cheering. And then you have some people, you have Kian, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like going, oh my God, I like this guy so much. Oh, look, the leftists are crying. Yeah, those who voted for him are going to be crying soon too. Yes. And then it's like, he says, you can't give these leftists, or you can't give these something left with that second syllable that we all hate, that conservatives like to put
Mhm.
after lib,
Mm-hmm.
right? That denigrate people that suffer, or that, I don't know if you can say suffer, but that have learning disabilities. It says you can't give them 1 inch. And it's like, and you got kid going like, that's my new mantra. It's also the title of your sex tape, because you can't give anyone 1 inch. But you don't have 1 inch to give. But hey, come for the
You
queen.
got me. That was a good one. That was a good one.
just what a twit. And speaking of twits, I don't know about you, Mr. Grizzly, but I am starting to hit the point on this whole Israel and Palestine thing, and people protesting and holding up our legislatures and all that kind of stuff with
Mhm.
I'm nearing a pox on both your houses level exasperation
Oh, yes.
with this. I mean, I don't know how many times we have to say it. Arabs, Muslims, and Palestinians are not Hamas. The Jewish people are not Israel. Our prime minister and our premiers do not govern Israel. And we are all allowed to hold 2 thoughts in our head at the same time without being accused constantly of being pro-genocide or anti-Semites. Enough. Stop it.
Mhm.
All you are doing is turning us all against all of you. This is not okay. There was a video of a woman, a Palestinian woman, that's talking to a security guard wanting to enter a place of business so she could protest in there. And he's saying, no, you can't. This is private property. Yes, I can. I have a right. I have a right. It's like, okay, let's go to your house, lady, knock on your door and demand that you let us into your house so that we can protest you in your house. Oh, no, but that's my private. It's the same damn thing.
Same damn thing.
It's the same damn thing. You have a right to protest. You don't have a right to protest anywhere you want in any damn way you want. Stop it. And because the man was doing his job, well, then you support genocide. No.
No.
I'm preventing you from committing a crime, trespassing, so that you don't get your ass arrested.
You know, I used to think...
Why? And I'd be sitting there going like, why do you want me to do something that will cause me to lose my job? Why are you demanding that I lose my job? If I have a wife, if I have kids, that I make them financially.
Are you referring to
situation just to make you happy for something that's going on over there?
You saw the clip that Karima posted about the woman trying to protest in at a Scotiabank. Yeah, okay, I thought so. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
She's like, I have a right to protest. No, you don't. It's a private property. You can't come in here.
Yeah.
Well,
she kept goading him until at one point he said, "That's what you people," and then she got him.
Yeah.
Because at one point, right? But it's like just we turned around. It's like, ma'am, what's your address? No, where do you live? What's your address? Well, why do you want it? What's your address? Oh, well, because I want to bring some of my friends over to your house, knock on your door, and come into your house and protest there.
Yeah. How do you like me now?
Oh, wait. Why can't I protest in your house if you want to protest in this place of business? You know, it's just, yeah, exactly, Kit Linda. They don't know the difference between rights and privilege. And to that effect, there is a person in Canada, a former senator. Her name is Linda Frum. And she has been all over Twitter, literally all over Twitter since this began. And I have no idea if what Barbara would be thinking if she was still alive today.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know at all what she would be thinking if she were still alive today. But Linda Frum, since leaving the Senate, is now the chair of the UGA Federation of Toronto Committee to Combat Anti-Semitism and Hate. Now, I don't know how you combat anti-Semitism and hate by being online and accusing absolutely everybody that's not 100% in your camp all the time with every single statement they make an anti-Semite. Not sure how that works. Just not sure how that works at all. And yesterday, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, but she claimed that this current government removed something from the terrorism law. And that did not happen. And it did not happen because the thing that she says was removed from the proposed terrorism law, or the one that passed at the time, never, ever, ever was in it to begin with.
Well, you got to get creative, right?
Well, I mean, like, come on, man. Come on. And then she refers to an article by a National Post writer named Tristan Hopper. And I made a mistake on my, or typo or a mistake. I kept on referring to him as Tristan Hooper, and somebody pointed that out to me. It's like, it's Hopper, not Hooper. So, my mistake on that one. And she said, you want to know more about this? Here it is. And she quotes this article. And in this article, this guy talks about the thing that everybody's claiming has been removed from the law. And he even puts it in quotes. Even in quotes. Say like, I pulled this from the legislation. And, well, I went to the legislation. I looked up Bill C-51 that was proposed way back when. That was a Harper bill.
Mm-hmm.
And the words that they claim were in the bill, not once. Not once at all did it appear in the bill. I'm going to send you a link here, Mr. Grizzly, so that the kids can see for themselves. Here we go. So,
just a second.
She claims, Linda Frum claims, that glorification of terrorism was once illegal in Canada and was made illegal by Stephen Harper. And then Mr. Harper says it in his article. But one of C-51's most controversial clauses was a measure to criminalize the, quote, glorification and promotion, another quote, of terrorism. The criminal code already made it a crime to abet terrorism, as is the case with all crimes. Everyone who counsels another person to be a party to an offense is a party to every offense that the other commits, reads one of the very first sections of the Criminal Code of Canada. But C-51 would add an entirely new section prescribing prison terms for up to 5 years for communicating statements that knowingly advocates or promotes the commission of terrorism and offenses in general. All right. He's mixing everything. What actually happened? Bill C-51 was derided as Canada's Patriot Act, and rightfully so. Didn't say that the glorification of terrorism, but the promotion of terrorism was in there. Now that's a completely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there never was a glorification of terrorism provision in the law that made it illegal. They're claiming it is. What was illegal was promotion of terrorism. And as soon as that happened, you had every single civil liberties group in Canada going, whoa, you can't do that, because promotion of terrorism is so damn broad that anything could fit under that. And especially with conservatives, because conservatives like to call the indigenous people, like the Wet'suwet'en, and the people away, I think it was the Mohawks, who had stopped some train lines from being able to operate during that. Well, they called them terrorists. And the people that protest at Clayoquot Sound, the environmentalists, well, they refer to them as terrorists a lot. And Black Lives Matter, they refer to them as terrorists a lot. So if promotion of terrorism is a crime, so let's say you are chaining yourself to a tree, and some conservative turns around and says, oh, you're a terrorist, and you're promoting terrorism because you're making it unsafe for these people to work there, well, then you can get arrested. Yeah, I could see why that would be a problem. Why civil liberties groups would say, you need to shore that up. It was way too easy. Unions could be used against unions as well.
Yeah, they could deem anybody they want as a terrorist.
So the Prime Minister fixed that. And before he went to the court, made counseling to commit terror an offense. Now that's way more clear. The only way these people make a point is by lying, which means they have no point to make. This is propaganda. They literally put quotes around the word to say, yeah, no, this was in the law.
No, it wasn't.
Never.
And they get away with lying. Nobody calls them out for their lies.
Nobody.
We do. We call out the liars. Hey, we just need to spread, get our program out there to more people so people can be better informed. And look, I'm not going to make a secret of the fact that the more subscribers we get, the chance we can generate some income off this. And the idea is to generate enough income off this so we can start hiring people to do some additional research for us and help with the production, because these 75-hour work weeks are really starting to take their toll on me physically. So look, I'm not making it a secret that we're trying to profit off this. Yes, we are. We're trying to profit off telling the truth and calling out liars for the liars that they are. That's what we're doing.
Indeed. Indeed. There was a time where people referred to Nelson Mandela as a terrorist. Right? I think maybe a few conservatives somewhere along the way even did at some point.
Yes, a number
And
of
this
them
is
did.
after he was released. And a few did.
But remember who the progressive conservative who started to boycott South Africa and embargo South Africa because of their apartheid region was? You remember who that was? The man who started that all?
Brian Mulroney.
No, Joe Clark.
Oh, Joe Clark. Sorry, sir. Joe Clark started it. Yes.
Joe Clark
Brian
started it.
Mulroney is the person who embarrassed Margaret Thatcher.
That's right. Yeah, it started under Joe Clark, progressive conservative, and Brian Mulroney brought it to the forefront and embarrassed Thatcher. And eventually the Americans came on board. And that was when, that was what brought the end of apartheid. Because you needed the biggest, the most powerful country on earth, not the biggest, but the most powerful country on earth to be able to pull some strings to make that happen. But it all started with Canada's own Joe Clark. So he was there, and I think it was his idea to provide, or to award Nelson Mandela with Canadian citizenship. Nelson Mandela Square is just a couple of blocks from my apartment, and I walk by it all the time. And it's dedicated to Nelson Mandela on the day that he received his Canadian citizenship, and the proudest person in that crowd was Joe Clark, because of the efforts that he made, the work that he did to bring about the end of apartheid and to free Nelson Mandela.
Mm-hmm.
And it all started with Joe Clark. Well, politically, it started with Joe Clark. There's probably other people around the world and people in South Africa that were fighting just as hard, if not harder. But it was Joe Clark who was able to get politicians and leaders and nations on board. So, yeah, remember.
Now, there's this other thing that's going on, and Mr. Grizzly, if you will put it up.
Just a second.
That these people are doing. And this is both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is the no nuance allowed under any conditions whatsoever, either on the Palestinian or the Israeli side. And what's happening here is, for example, you have this tweet here from Arif Virani, who's our Minister of Justice, from November 19th. Islamophobia has no place in Canada. The appalling attacks targeting Muslims in Toronto are utterly unacceptable. Freedom of religion is fundamental and enshrined in the Charter. No one should ever fear for their safety because of their faith. We stand united against such hatred. And then you have some people, like this person here, whose name I'm not going to mention even though it appears on the screen. But this is someone that never appeared in my Twitter feed at all until about 2 days ago. Tristan Hopper also never appeared in my Twitter feed until 2 days ago. Now all of a sudden they're all over my For You section.
Yeah, I just stick to following because For You is just a litany of hatred and vileness.
Yep, but they're there.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, never saw them at all before, and all of a sudden over the past 2 days, these two there. Quite right, Minister of Justice Arif Virani. Did I miss your condemnation of the Hamas October 7th savagery or any subsequent denunciation of anti-Semitic violence and protests since October 7th? If so, please post. If not, why the silence? You, of all people, Minister of Justice for all Canadians, including Canadian Jews. Here's the thing that these people do often. They take one intervention on one day. They isolate it. They remove it from the context of everything that person has said on the topic since October 7th. I say, you didn't talk about October 7th and you didn't denounce it. Your tweet is about Islamophobia. What about the anti-Semitism? Don't you care?
Yeah.
If you go to his page and click on it, pinned tweet, the pinned tweet has a general statement like I made earlier, condemning anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. On the day of the attack, if this person really wanted to know, they could have just searched YouTube or the news for what people were saying on the day of the attack or the day after, and she could have got the answer, but no. She found a clip where he was talking about Islamophobia specifically, because there's only like 280 characters in a tweet, right? But every single tweet has to include that condemnation and something about that date before you can get around to the reason why you wrote that tweet for these people. And even if you did, that would be in a thread, so then they would just pick the tweet in the thread that's not mentioning that and would say, you didn't do it. You didn't do it. When you take something out of its context and treat it in isolation like that, and then condemn that, rather than looking at somebody's body of work and everything they said, the totality of everything they said since October 7th on this, you are engaging in an inherently dishonest practice.
Mm-hmm.
And what you are doing is you are using the tragedy and the misery and the suffering of others more than halfway across the world for self-aggrandizing, for clicks and likes, and to make a political statement here. The person who did that, I don't know how much they care about Jewish people, but my sense would be not a lot, because they seem to care a lot more about using the tragedy and the horror that's going on over there in order to bash, once again, a brown guy with a Muslim-y sounding name.
Yeah.
Or our prime minister, or our government trying to paint it as anti-Semitic. Our government apparently at the same time is anti-Semitic and pro-genocide.
Well, you see, everything is black and white. There's no nuance and no shades of gray. It's black or it's white. That's it. It's a 1 or a 0. Everything is binary with these folks. If you don't this, it means you tacitly support it. But I was condemning one thing because I didn't condemn the other thing at the same time. Suddenly I'm a... Nuance is dead.
So I'm just, you can't. Our leaders do not govern there.
Exactly. Expecting
them to act like they do is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's foolish. It's idiotic.
And
it's
you
naive.
Rally nobody to your cause with that.
No.
Nobody knew anyway. All you do is attract all the other people that don't do nuance or don't allow for any nuance. If you believe in humanity and that all humans should be treated with dignity, you are horrified by what happened on October 7th, and you are horrified by a lot that has happened since. Regardless of how noble you may think the causes are. Doing terrible things to other people and then wrapping yourself in nobility is always, always wrong.
Well, that's why they keep bringing up blackface every day. They think
And this
that's
applies,
winning them points.
Exactly. It's like I'm going to pretend I stand for black people by circulating images that are harmful to black people. If you're a gay person and you were upset, even if you're a black gay person, you were upset by what Black Lives Matter did at that Pride Parade that one year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you side with the oppressors. You want to own slaves, don't you? Dude. No. So could we just keep pride about pride? Could we keep unions about unions? QP is imploding on this issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why is QP having a position on this? How does it help any workers here? How does it raise their quality of life? How does it raise their standard of living? It's just if you have a mandate, stick to your mandate. We here are not going to solve that issue. Let's not make what's going on over there happen here. We
Indeed.
live here because we want to escape that.
Well, that's why so many people come here, is to get away from it, so that they can build a life for themselves. They're, here in this country where you're allowed to do that. Not only are you allowed to do it, you're encouraged to build a life for yourself here. And we'll give you a hand up.
Right. I support the Palestinian people. I support the Israeli people. I support people who want to live in peace and coexist and build stuff together. I don't support people who want to tear down.
It's not rocket appliances.
God. And you don't have to support genocide or anti-Semitism to want to support people who want to build something and live in peace. That's just silly. Stop it. And that's what my message is there. Gotta let the kids know what time it is. It's just, this is not okay. This is not okay. Mr. Grizzly, do we have a show?
We do indeed, sir.
All right, kids and cubs. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. We hope that you enjoyed listening to this because we loved making this for you. Remember, sharing is caring, so please tell your peeps and poops all about us because word of mouth is priceless. If you would like to subscribe and make sure you do not miss an episode, our pod page, sponsored by the Ray Girl, that's where you go to. That's podpage.com/TheTrueNorthEagerBeaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And when we have something fresh off the bandwidth, we'll be right there waiting for you. And if you'd like to encourage us to do more, well, then you can like, share, and subscribe on our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page. That helps us out a lot. And if you'd like to encourage us in other ways, you can do so by making a contribution to the Eager Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund by going to our coffee page. That's coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. All right? Because democracy is something that you do. Go get your XBB shots. XBB shots. Don't get the XBBB. That's a whole different shot. The XBB shot, your flu shots, your RSV shots, your pneumococcal shots, all of them. Go get them. Let's help to keep our hospitals unclogged. Our hospital staff have worked hard enough the last few years. So let's try to give them a winter that's somewhat normal. All right. And also, normal. If you're online and you see anybody that's has that 100% no nuance allowed, preserve your mental health and your sanity. Don't engage.
No, don't.
Just don't engage. It's not worth it.
The world
is going to change
binary.
nothing. And it's going to change nothing. It's going to make nobody's day better.
No.
All right? And it certainly isn't going to help anybody over there.
No.
So please, take extra care to be extra kind and extra gentle with yourself, because there's a lot of people out there that only thing they know right now is violence.
And nothing else.
Whether that's verbal violence or physical, it's all they know. Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of wisdom?
Yeah. Sort of the repeating mantra with me lately, and I know I sound like a broken record, but as you just said, don't engage with those people. Nuance is part of life. And you know, nothing is binary. I mean, nothing really is binary except for binary code. That's it. You're allowed to have different opinions on different things, and just because you don't necessarily come out and make a statement that is bad, but this is also bad, doesn't mean you're evil. So take time for yourself today to unplug from the doom scrolling that many of us do on a daily basis. I know it's addictive and it can be terrible, but don't doom scroll. Take a break. Maybe only an hour, maybe 2 hours, whatever you need. Take a break for yourself and be kind to everybody around you. And remember to smile. Because when you smile, when you smiled at somebody and they smile back, whether they realize it or not, it's going to uplift them, because it actually it activates chemicals in the brain that make you feel better. Just the same way laughter does. Even fake laughter will make you feel better because the body doesn't know it's fake. The body reacts to it chemically. So smiling and laughing, even if it's phony, will make you feel better, and it'll make the person you smiled at feel better too. And that's about all I've got to say for today.
Yeah. Yesterday, a random guy complimented me on my shoes, and it made my day.
There you go.
Just pay someone a compliment, smile, look him in the eye. All right? Mr. Grizzly, roll them credits, please.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Now, kids, normally our Easter eggs are fun. This one isn't, but this one is going to prove essentially the point of this entire show. Today, Mr. Grizzly, we have the infamous Miss Bahira Abdul Salam, often referred to as Abdul Salami.
Not gonna make fun of her name.
No, but putting this whole tweet out like this, and she's proud of someone. But in this tweet, there is, if you scroll down a little bit, a highlighted portion, Mr. Grizzly, that says,
"We evaluate our positions in Canada and the West about Hamas and how they are classified. This is resistance."
No,
it's
no,
not.
we should not. We absolutely should not. And right there, kids, you have the Venn diagram of F. Trudeau and transphobia and anti-Semitism all in one. These people are not your friends. They're not their friends either. Right? Beware. Have a great day.
See ya.